I was thinking a lot about what I wanted to talk about on this daily diary thing of mine. And I think what I'm most concerned with, which I think a lot of people are most concerned with, is like, what the hell is going on in the whole world? Like when I think about filmmaking, or I think about theater, think about music, I think a lot about the people that I know who are involved in this world. Like, I have the most diverse array of friends and, acquaintances and colleagues, collaborators, people who I look up to, people who follow me, like incredibly diverse group of people from all over the world, literally, who speak all different languages and come from different cultures and believe in different things, look at the world differently. But the one thing that I notice in my world, I don't know about your world, and this is kind of the disconnect that I can't get to, but the one thing that I notice in my world is that everybody in this world gets along. Like if you put a band together, or you do a play, or you work on a film, I don't care where you're from, what you believe in, what your culture is like, how you view women's place in society, or gay people, or black people, or brown people, or white people, or whatever. Like, put those people, put a diversity of, like a collective of people who are from all different places in the theater, on a film set, in a recording studio. These people are going to get along because art is amazing. Art is I think art brings out the most human part of us. And I don't know if other jobs do that, but I think they do. I think in many cases they do. I think that even like police officers, military people, like you put people in a squadron or a group together that works together, that relies upon one another, that literally depends upon one another for their life, for their safety. They come from different places. Even if they first get together and they kind of side-eye one another because they've been brought up in a certain kind of way to not trust, not believe in, not have faith in, not like somebody who looks different than them or comes from a different country or whatever. You put them together and they work together long enough and they go through enough experiences together, and suddenly they wind up having a lot of love for one another. They trust one another. They realize that they're exactly the same, that they want the same things, that they're here for the same reasons. They have families, or they want to have families, or they want to be safe, they want to have homes, nice homes, they want to have good schools, and they want to be able to shop for whatever they want, and whatever, they want to watch whatever movies they want to watch, they want to express themselves, they want to be free, they want to have no fear about saying what's on their mind, about arguing, having disagreements. They wind up getting along. In a band, it might be about chord changes. It might be like, I don't want this to be in a minor key, I think it should be a major key. Or theater, like, I don't think that these characters are evolving enough, they're just staying the same for 2 hours. It just doesn't work, and they work that out. I don't like the blocking on a film set. I mean, do I even have to go through that? Like, I don't like the focal lengths we're using. I think you're using blurry background too much. I don't like the color science in this camera. I don't think we should shoot anamorphic. I think there should be 4:3, and somebody else wants 2.39 to 1, like scope. But they wind up getting through it because it's art. Because everybody has a common goal. Everybody wants the same thing, and everybody, has a stake in it. Nobody's going to lose. Somebody might not get exactly what they want, but at the end, they're proud of what they've accomplished together. And that's what I'm thinking about in the world right now. That's why I think it's so important to make art right now. And that, I'm a solo artist, and I'm starting to see less and less value in working solo because I'm all by myself most of the time. And so I'm kind of like an observer, you know what I mean? Like, I write about what I observe. I write about how I feel about what's going on. I write about how the events of the day impact society, impact all of us. And I've been so fortunate to, put work together like that and then meet the people who I actually wrote about in the real world. Like Sean Bell's family, who, You know, Sean Bell was shot 50 times by New York City police officers coming out of his bachelor party in 2006. And, you know, I turned that into a love story. I turned it into 4 characters who love each other, who we watch for 20 years of their lives. And I talk about all the things that might have led to the visceral response that police had to Sean Bell and his friends that night. That, you know, that there are things that you might not think about that might have led to that moment that is inconceivable. That, you know, a man who was unarmed and his friends were unarmed, and 50 bullets went in one direction towards them, killing one of them, gravely injuring others, and no shots came back in this direction. And the weird thing was, it wasn't all white police officers. And so, you know what I mean? It's like it's a social construct. You know, color is social construct. Religion is created. We're all human beings. We have the same hearts. We have the same organs. We have the same blood. You know, we have the same brains. Like, we're the same. We look different, which is probably what's most beautiful about us, that we look different. Like, imagine if we're all drones and we all look the same. Who wants that? Who wants, that's the same thing as everybody thinking alike and feeling alike and wanting, you know, that's boring. And that's like just dull, you know, it's like nothing. That's why art is so beautiful. But what I'm realizing, that what's most beautiful about it is everything that I've talked about. People coming together for a common cause. Like, that's what politics should be, but they're not anymore. Politics are about power, you know? If a director on set just ruled over everything and got only what he wanted, it wouldn't be a good experience for anybody else on the set. If somebody in the band just gave you charts and said, just play what I told you to play, it wouldn't be as good as if you allow these artists to express themselves once they really learn the song and then just kind of use their talent to embellish in ways that the writer, the artist, probably never even would have thought about. Theater is the same thing. I mean, it's important to fight for what you want, of course, but it's also important to understand what other people might bring to the table. And I just have to think that, you know, whether you're walking around the world with a red hat and you believe in those things, or you're blue, you know, and you are fighting for, you know, fighting for a way of life that you've had, that you've known, that this country has known for over 250 years. I mean, you know, it's never been good, you know, it's never been perfect, but it's been better than any place else because we've had the opportunity to fight for a better world. We are allowed to protest. And, you know, of course there are exceptions to the rule, and there have been horrible things that have happened throughout history, and that's the whole point. We're fighting through this ugly, imperfect society, fighting for something better all the time. And I know it's exhausting for people of color and women, you know, and people from other countries who are like, how long do I have to fight? You know, how long do white people, white men make the rules in this country forever? How long do we have to abide by this stuff that is clearly unjust, not fair, ridiculous, not even common sense, just based in fear and power and, you know, colonization and gentrification, all the horrible things. I still stand by the fact that we are the best place because we have the opportunity to continue to fight for a better world. And it's unquestionable that we're better now than we were in 1960, in 1920, in 1890, in 1800, in 1776. We're so much better. We still suck, but we're so much better. But I say that with love because, you know, I love this country so much. I'm out here in the most beautiful place. You know, I'm by the Hudson River. I'm close to New York City. I'm close to Albany. I'm close to New Jersey. I can get in my car and drive to Boston in the same amount of time that I could drive to Washington, D.C., just a matter of hours. I mean, you know, I feel like I'm in the center of the universe. Like, you know, anywhere close to New York City to me is like Mecca. But other people think that I'm a snob and that's not the case, and that there are other places that are better. That's something that's beautiful about this country. If you live in Santa Fe, New Mexico, or Aurora, Colorado, or Austin, Texas, or Nashville, or New Orleans, like all these beautiful, amazing places, you know, I would just have to say that you're right, that your place is better to you, to many people, because all of it is so awesome, so beautiful. We have to fight to keep this. You know, like, we're taking it for granted. Do we really want to wind up like some of these other countries where people can't make choices, where a band like Pussy Riot in Russia goes to jail for writing songs? Like, is that what we really want? Really? We want to be mad at each other because somebody is trans, somebody is gay, somebody's a woman, somebody's black, like we're mad at that? I mean, a lot of the people who are mad at that have people from other countries who are here illegally, but are paying taxes and living good lives and contributing, working for them on farms, in office buildings in New York City, like in kitchens, and yet they're like backing certain directives that we're living under right now that are taking these workers from them and leaving them unable to function as businesses. And now they're like, oh, well, I didn't mean it that way, like bring those people back. You see, we're caught up in the minutia. We're not thinking about the things that are important. We're not thinking about, you know, what we can learn from one another, what we can teach one another, what we can observe, you know, from somebody who's completely different than us and go, oh, wow, that's kind of beautiful. You know, we don't have to live in this insular world of only us, like, you know, only what we know, only what we believe in, and impose that upon everybody else. That, to me, that sucks. That's what my daily diary is about today. To me, that absolutely sucks. I hate that. I want to be around people that I don't understand because, you know, I believe in people's hearts. I believe that people want to protect their children. They want to protect their elders. Their elders want to pass on stories and knowledge to people who are younger than them so that they don't make the same mistakes, so that they learn things that they might not know, things, you know, they might say things that they wish somebody had told them when they were growing up. Like, I want to live that kind of life, but so does every culture. Every culture is like that. I want to know real history. I want to know the mistakes that we made, you know. I want children to learn about slavery, about racism, about misogyny. I want them to know that their mother could not have a credit card of her own in 1972, that she couldn't take out a mortgage and buy a house if she was single, that being a single woman was almost a crime. Up until the 70s, I want people to learn that when they're young so they can laugh about it. You know, because we can laugh about it now. Even though it's despicable, disgusting, unbelievably bad. But yet we can laugh about it now because we could say, wow, that's ridiculous. Of course that's ridiculous. My mother runs the house. You know, like, I want people to learn from that. I want people to know, you know, about culture and how much we've gotten from black culture as white people. In music, in filmmaking, in art in general, in storytelling, in science. The people who have put their lives on the line to serve for this country, who have died for this country, died for the freedom of this country, for your freedom, for everybody's freedom. I say your because I'm pointing to everybody who's watching this video. I want people to learn about that. I don't want that to, like, why are we erasing people from our history? The positive history, like, I don't understand the sense of that. I just don't get it. You know, I don't understand how the words diversity, equity, and inclusion are bad words. I don't understand that. I just don't, you know. I don't understand how the word liberal is a bad word. You know, like, ain't nobody trying to hurt you. Nobody's coming to your house and robbing you. Nobody's beating you up. Nobody's stealing your car. Nobody's taking your job. I don't understand. You know, like I said, it's not perfect. We're always working to make things work out better for everybody. You know, somebody once said to me that they thought I was racist against white people. That's crazy talk. I love everybody, including myself, a white people person. But I'll never identify as white. I just don't do that. Because again, color is a social construct, and what you are and identified as to other people immediately puts something in their brain of what you're like, what you believe in, what you think, your perspective. And, you know, in the case of, you know, I would say in 99.9% of the cases, that's totally wrong because you can't know somebody until you know somebody. And so I identify as a human being. I identify as me. That's it, you know. my life, what I am, what I like, what I do. So yeah, that's what's on my mind today. I'm out here in some park. I have no idea the name of it. I'm using my Panasonic S5 full frame camera. I'm using my Sirui 35mm f1.8 lens, anamorphic lens. I'm using the Hollyland Lark Max, even though I hate the way it looks, but it looks okay with a black sweatshirt. It's so gorgeous out here. Nobody's here because it's going to rain pretty soon, and I think people were getting out of here before that happened. I took a leap of faith, even with my anamorphic lens. I said, you know what? The universe is going to keep the rain off my head until I finish my thoughts. So that's what I think. That's what I wish everybody would think, which sounds so arrogant, because who am I to wish what everybody thinks? But I wish, I do, I have to admit it, I wish that everybody was open enough to allow everyone else to be, to exist, to coexist, to collaborate with one another, to live in the same neighborhoods, to work at the same jobs, to have the same goals and dreams, to study together in school, to be in the same colleges, to graduate together, to start not knowing each other and end loving each other. That's what I wish for. That's what I want. I hate all this other stuff. It just eats at my spirit, fucks me up. So I will fight against it until my last breath, and that's what I've been doing since I was a little boy. And I have to say that no matter who you are, I think it's really important to look out for your neighbors. Speak out. Don't stay quiet. Do not remain silent. Silence equals death for somebody else in many cases. We have to come together and take care of one another as a society, as a people, as humanity. Otherwise, we're going to lose it, because look what's happening. The Middle East is in a serious war. Ukraine and Russia in a serious war. The United States, what is going on? Like, it's crazy what's going on in here right now. There's so much change, so much challenge, so much confusion, so much anger and hostility and bitterness and fear, and like, there's so much going on. Sudan. I mean, when you think about what's happening in a country like Sudan, you just wonder, like, what is going on in these people's minds to be treating other human beings the way they're being treated. But same thing happens in war in general. I just don't get it. I don't get it, and I hope I never get it. I hope I never understand. I hope it confuses me for the rest of my life. I hope it just fucks me up every day for the rest of my existence so I can continue to fight against it. I hope for that. I do. I mean, obviously, I hope for it all to get better. Do I think that's going to happen in my lifetime? I doubt it. You know, I doubt it. But do I have hope? Always. You can't take that from me. You can't take my joy from me. I will fight against it forever. But I hope that, I hope I never disappoint myself, and I wish for other people to never give up. You know, give up the dream of, you know, something that I always say, like, if everybody's not okay, then nobody's okay.